In the heart of Ikorodu, where yellow buses roared and high-rise buildings clawed at the sky, lived a 27-year-old man named Afam. To outsiders, Afam was just another sharp boy, one of many chasing fast cash through Yahoo deals, with a gold chain on his neck and designer slippers on his feet. But things had started going wrong. The blessings were no longer flowing. The clients had dried up. Desperate, Afam came home one night and found his mother, Mama Oluchi, sitting by a flickering rechargeable lamp. "Mama," he whispered, "your way no day work again. The money don't dry." His voice trembled, not from fear, but from the hunger for more. She didn't scold him. Instead, her eyes lit up. "Let's go and see Dibia Ejima," she said. That moment, that choice, would open the gates of hell they could never close. Dibia Ejima lived at the edge of Egbogbo Road, inside a fence compound masked with thick palm leaves and red cloth. People whispered his name in fear. They said his tongue could twist destinies, and his herbs could open doors soaked in blood. Afam and Mama Oluchi arrived just as the sun bowed out behind the horizon. "Money no dey flow again," Afam confessed. "I need something strong." The Dibia didn't blink. "For real money," he said, "you must give real blood." Afam's stomach clenched, but he didn't speak. Then the Dibia leaned forward and asked a question that sliced the room. "Do you have someone close to you? Pure, innocent, preferably blood of your blood?" Mama Oluchi turned to her son and said coldly, "Your brother, Somadina. He fits." Afam's jaw dropped. But her face didn't flinch. That was the moment humanity died inside that family. Somadina was 21, a final year student at Lagos State Polytechnic. He was the quiet one in the family, the one who prayed before eating, the one who still believed life could be beautiful without shortcuts. He adored Afam, saw him as his role model. And to their mother, Somadina was the obedient son, always sending part of his allowance to support her. That week, he returned home for the semester break, excited to see everyone. "Mama, I bought you that wrapper you liked," he said, smiling, handing her a folded nylon bag. She hugged him, but there was death in her eyes. Afam avoided looking at him too long. He felt the tremor in his chest but kept it hidden beneath a forced laugh. That night, the Dibia gave them a red mark to place under Somadina's pillow, a spiritual gateway to open his soul for sacrifice. 3 days later, Mama Oluchi made his favorite meal, jollof rice with spicy fried turkey and chilled malt. She added the powder from the Dibia's black nylon into the food with trembling fingers. It must not be too hot, the Dibia had warned, or it will lose strength. Somadina came home that evening sweaty from playing ball. "Mama, this food smells like heaven," he said, settling down at the plastic table outside. Afam watched from the corner, heart pounding like generator noise. "You no go eat?" Somadina asked. "I already ate," Afam replied, voice dry. As Somadina devoured the food, laughter and love filled the air. But 20 minutes later, his chest seized. He clutched his throat and collapsed. "My stomach. Mama. Bro." He screamed. Foam filled his mouth. His eyes widened in confusion. He didn't know his killers sat beside him, smiling as his word ended. When Somadina stopped breathing, Afam ran to the back of the compound, vomiting violently. "It is done," Mama Oluchi said flatly, wiping her hands with a rag. Afam didn't speak. Dibia Ejima arrived that night with a sack and tools that didn't belong in any human hand. "We need the fingers, the hair, his 2 thumbs, and a picture," he commanded. Afam wept as he cut through his brother's flesh, blood soaking the basin. He took a passport photo of the lifeless face and handed it to the Dibia. "Good," the old man said. "Bury him before dawn, near the banana tree at Majiden Cemetery. Then come see me for the next step. Your bank alerts will change." That night, under the cover of darkness and betrayal, they carried Somadina's body in a wheelbarrow through the back roads of Ikorodu. But fate was not done with them yet. At Majiden Cemetery, just as they were digging behind a broken tombstone, 2 police patrol vans pulled up. A farmer had seen them sneaking with the body and called the police. Ogre. Wetin una dey do here with dead body for this kind time? An officer barked, torchlight flashing across Afam's blood-stained shirt. It's my brother. He died suddenly. Afam stammered. But the officers noticed the cut-off thumbs, the missing fingers, and the fresh knife. Mama Oluchi tried to faint, but it was too late. They were handcuffed on the spot. This one no be sudden death. This no ritual killing, the lead officer declared. They were taken to the Ikorodu Division Police Station, where Afam sat in silence, staring at his bloody hands. He had killed his brother, for what? For money. For power. He would soon learn that some gates, once opened, never close. By morning, the story had exploded across Ikorodu. Blog headlines screamed, "Yahoo boy and mother kill brother for ritual in Ikorodu." Videos of their arrest circulated online. At Somadina School, lecturers paused classes to confirm the news. Neighbors gathered at their house, weeping and shaking their heads. She know that Mama Oluchi way they always they pray loud. Now she do this. A woman said in disbelief. Some people defended her, saying poverty had pushed her. Others called for her execution. At the station, Afam finally broke down. I didn't want to do it. I swear. I begged her. But she insisted. She said nothing good comes without blood. But it didn't matter. The evidence was too clear, the Dibia's testimony, the body, the ritual marks. Mama Oluchi didn't cry. She simply sat on the bench in her wrapper, eyes fixed on the wall, muttering incantations. The courtroom at Ikorodu Magistrate Court was packed. Reporters, neighbors, and even strangers came to witness the horror unfold. Afam and Mama Oluchi were charged with conspiracy to murder, unlawful killing, and attempted ritual sacrifice. The prosecutor, Barrister Nkem, presented the gory details, the food, the poison, the missing fingers, and the Dibia's confessional statement. When asked why he did it, Afam said, "I just wanted to be rich. I wanted to buy Mama a house, drive a Benz. I didn't think he would really die." Gasps filled the courtroom. You didn't think? After cutting his thumbs. The judge shouted. Somadina's classmates and friends gave emotional testimonies. One girl said, "He was kind. He used to buy us snacks after class." Mama Oluchi, when asked why she did it, said calmly, "Because we were tired of being poor." And Somadina was too soft for this world. Karikeri prison was not kind to Afam. The walls stank of sweat and sorrow. Every night, he heard voices, some from fellow inmates, others from his own head. He saw Somadina's face in his sleep, smiling, then bleeding. "Brother, why?" the ghost would ask. Mama Oluchi was placed in the female wing. Rumors spread that she had tried to perform rituals inside the cell, whispering strange chants at night. The prison guards mocked them. "So this not the blood money una want? Now here una go spend the rest of una life." Afam stopped eating. His eyes sank, his skin turned pale. One day, he whispered to a guard, "Please. Can I see a pastor?" The guard laughed. "When you did kill your brother, you no call pastor." That was the first day Afam realized that even hell has levels, and he had entered the deepest one. Back in Egbogbo, Dibia Ejima tried to escape the storm. He packed his shrine and attempted to flee to Bedegri. But he was caught. The police raided his compound and found dozens of jars filled with bones, blood-stained feathers, and photos of other victims. He was dragged to court alongside Afam and Mama Oluchi. During trial, he confessed, "I have helped over 300 boys. Some succeeded. Some died. But everyone came willingly." The judge stared at him like a demon. "You're a cancer in this country," he said. "You manipulate the weak and feed on their desperation." Dibia Ejima was sentenced to life imprisonment. But some still say his spirit didn't remain in prison, that he had done things too dark to be contained by bars. That's why in some corners of Ikorodu, people still see shadows move without wind and hear drums beat without hands. Somadina's body was finally laid to rest weeks later in a quiet cemetery at Imota. There was no crowd. Just two friends, a priest, and an officer from the state. The priest read Psalm 23 with a trembling voice. The friends who came cried silently. He always talked about making Mama proud, one said. He didn't know she would be the reason he'd never graduate. The casket was simple. No ceremony. No family. His grave bore only a short inscription, Somadina Okeke, betrayed by blood. As the soil was poured over the coffin, a strange wind swept the area. Birds scattered. Some say it was his spirit rising in grief. Others believe his soul still wanders, searching for the love he thought he had. It was a funeral that should have been filled with family and prayers. Instead, it was soaked in sorrow and haunting silence. In Kurikuri, Afam became a shell. The money never came. The dreams died. His name became a warning whispered across the cells. That's the boy who killed his brother for ritual. He tried to take his life twice but failed. One day, a pastor visited the prison. Afam sat through the sermon, eyes blank. After the prayer, he whispered, "Will God ever forgive me?" The pastor looked at him long and hard and said, "Ask your brother first." That night, Afam cried for hours, not the tears of pain, but of regret that arrives too late. In her cell, Mama Oluchi stopped talking. She refused food. She stared at the wall for days until one morning, she collapsed and was rushed to the prison clinic. Some say she died. Others say she went mad. But everyone agrees, the moment she betrayed Somadina, her soul stopped breathing. News channels picked up the story. Another ritual killing in Lagos, the headlines read. But it wasn't just another. It was a symbol of how far society had fallen. Talk shows debated, are we losing our humanity? Pastors preached. Activists marched. But in the end, nothing changed. A week later, another girl was found dead in Oja, her heart missing. Then another in Festac. The cycle continued. People blamed poverty. Others blamed bad parenting. Some blamed spiritual blindness. But no one took full responsibility. And in the corners of markets, men still whispered about rituals, about how blood works better than password. But every time someone passed Somadina's grave, a chill crept into their spine. As if the earth itself refused to forget. As if his story wasn't just a tragedy, but a warning. Years later, a new student union leader in Laspitek wrote a poem titled Blood Will Always Speak. It went viral. It told Somadina's story, how trust turned into a grave, how blood was spilled not by strangers, but by family. That poem sparked a movement. Students across Lagos began holding candlelight walks for victims of ritual killings. The government was forced to act, setting up a task force to track down ritual dens and arrest fraudulent herbalists. Though too late for Somadina, his blood began to speak louder than the evil that silenced him. In the end, it wasn't Afam's Benz, or Mama Oluchi's new house, or any of their Yahoo dreams that shook the nation, it was the life of a simple, God-fearing boy. Taken too soon. His name was Somadina. And he became more powerful in death than they ever imagined. Thanks for watching and listening to this African folktale story. Please subscribe to my YouTube channel for more interesting and captivating folktale story. Thanks and God bless.